nail technicians, you piss me off, and I'm here to rant about your asses, okay?
This is a video I've been waiting to do for so long. Seriously, a lot of you guys will be shooketh by this info that I'm about to share with you right now.
Nail technicians are scammers.
Some of you probably already know this happens. I can assure you that majority of people don't. And when I tell them, they're like, what the fuck? This is a story of the worst nail salon I've ever been to and the scam. This is not the only nail store in the world that does this scam. Majority of nail salons will scam you like this if you don't know your shit.
Hello everybody and welcome to a very special video today. I don't actually know where to start. If you have ever had your nails done, chances are that you have been asked this question: acrylic or gel? So today I'm actually going to debunk what acrylic and what gel is, and also expose the scam that is gel nails. Hi everyone, my name is Tita and I am an international expert educator for Nail Perfect and Nail Perfect Australia. I started my career around 3 years ago now, and I work in my home salon here in Melbourne, Australia. Now, when I first started getting my nails done, I was getting asked the question, acrylic or gel? Now, I had no idea what the difference was before I became qualified and learnt about the hundreds of different products that are out there and what they can do. I always ask the same question, well, what's the difference? And I got the same answer every time. I must have gone to about 20 different nail salons over the years before I actually became qualified. And the only explanation that I ever got was, gel is better for you. But it was never actually explained to me what gel was, what it looked like, what it could do, why I was paying $10 or $15 more for this mysterious product that I had nothing about that was apparently better. And I thought, well, if it's better for you, why don't they just use it everywhere? Why don't they advertise more of it instead of just sort of asking, oh, is it acrylic or gel today? And then I think a couple times I probably said, oh, I'll get gel today. Never noticed anything different. The prep, application, filing, the overall, I guess, final result was always the exact same. And that always confused me a little bit. Fast forward to when I became qualified, I learnt the difference between acrylic and gel. So when I first started my salon, I just stocked acrylic and I was ordering in some gel products because I was trying to find a good brand that had gels, because not every acrylic company will make a gel. So I had my gel shipment on the way, and I actually had a client say, do you do gel? And I said, no, I don't do gel yet. I have it coming. I will let you know once I actually have it available. So she thought, so she went, great, no problem. Send me a message once you've got it in stock. So once I got it in stock, I said, good news, I've got the gel, I can book you in. So I booked her in, she came in, sat down, I started her nail service, and then I pulled out my gel pot and she went, what's that? I just went, it's gel? And she's like, oh, no, I use the different gel. So I was like, okay. Did the gel they used on you look like powder? And she went, yeah, the powder gel. I have gotten the powder gel. And I went, okay, cool. How long have you actually been getting the powder gel for? She's like, oh, 2 years now. I said, okay, why do you get the powder gel? And she said, oh, well, it's healthier. I've never had an issue. I've had issues with acrylics, but I've never had an issue with the gel. So I prefer it. It's stronger, it lasts more, and everything else obviously that goes along with why it's apparently better. And they've been charging you extra every time. She's like, yeah, no, I pay extra for the gel service. I said, cool. You go every 2 weeks and you've been getting this gel service and paying extra for 2 whole years. You've been getting acrylic this whole time. And she didn't believe me until I showed her physically the difference between a gel and an acrylic. just to put it into context for you, this is gel. Gel will always come in a honey-like consistency, so it's very runny. You have some gels that self-level, so they run a lot quicker and they self-level, and you've got gels that are thicker. At the end of the day, they still look like gel. You can't mistake it for any powder whatsoever, and there's really no way you can lie about what gel looks like. Gel is gel. Acrylic will always have a powdered form, and that goes for your S&S, your dip systems. They are all acrylic based. Now, just briefly on the history of gel powders, there was, or should I say, is a system called Leglit gel powders. Now they actually brand as a gel powder. I do need to clarify, I guess, before I go into this, because there's always going to be that one person who will say, no, gel powder exists. No, it's still acrylic. It is still 100% acrylic powder, but you are dipping it into or pouring it over a gel. So it would be like a gel base, and then you pour the acrylic, you put it in a lamp, the acrylic sort of blends with the gel and then hardens in the lamp. Completely different to the gel powder that is advertised by salons. I highly doubt that they're going to be using this system from years ago in their salons without actually explaining to you what it is and the difference. If they are picking up a brush, dipping it into a liquid, and then picking up a bead of powder, you, sir, have acrylic. So the gel powder that Leglit brought out was a completely different system to that. You could not confuse this for acrylic or any other system. It is entirely its own system. So moving on, myself and quite a few other people online have seen a lot of stories and a lot of videos, especially on YouTube, of people getting scammed. Let's just call it the gel nail scam. So I am here today to debunk the gel nail scam. So the first thing I did was actually did some research on YouTube and researched in quite a few nail groups that I'm in on Facebook. And there were quite a few people asking what the difference between gel was. There were people on YouTube talking about how they went into a nail salon, they asked for gel and they got acrylic. I actually had a client of mine tell me that she asked for acrylic at a salon a couple of years ago, and a lady sat next to her after she had had her nails done, and the lady next to her asked for gel. And what they did was they actually pulled the acrylic and liquid pot from in front of my client after they were done and moved it to the gel client, and they did the exact same service, and that client paid $10 more. Why do they do this? Because they can. Every one of my clients that I've explained the difference to has had no idea. So part of my job, not only as an educator but as a nail technician, is to actually educate my clients and the general public. And these are people that don't even come to me. I want them to be informed and actually know where their money is going towards. So if you want to get gel nails done, if you want to get acrylic done, it's entirely your choice. They both have their pros and cons, but don't be conned into paying extra for gel that is acrylic powder just because you don't know the difference. That's not fair. So what I did was, after I researched some of other people's stories, I actually looked into some local nail salons and also salons interstate. So these were just like random salons that I found online that I'd walk past in the shop, and a lot of them had gel services. There was quite a few that just said gel, so they had their acrylic and their prices, and then their gel and the gel prices. The gel was always more expensive. On average, I'm talking $10 to $15 more, and then you had shellac. So shellac is a gel polish. If you are wanting to know the difference between shellac and gel polish, the difference is actually just in the brand name. Shellac is a C&D version of a gel polish. It is light, cured, so they'll put the polish on, you put it in the lamp, it comes out, top coat, cure, instantly dry. Same as a gel polish, you paint it on and it's dry within a few minutes. You can walk out and not worry about smudging it. So that is a gel polish. I'll get back to that in a second. So I actually got a few price lists of these salons that were floating around that you walk into your average everyday shopping centre, and I messaged a few of them pretending that I had never gotten my nails done before and I wanted advice. And you would think that as professionals and as a salon, they would actually give you, I guess, correct information, and they wouldn't lie to you or try and scam you, right? So I'm going to bring up these messages now and have a read through and show you basically what you can expect for someone to say if they are scamming you or have no idea what they're talking about. And this happens a lot more than you think. And if you're wondering how they get away with it, the industry is not regulated. There is no one going in and saying, hey, you don't actually have that product on the shelf. Why are you advertising it? Okay, so I messaged 13 different nail salons, asking them all the same question. 10 out of 13 completely ignored my question when I got to talking and asking them about gel. And the ones that did actually reply to me were very evasive and broad with their answers. For example, seller number 1 advertised a separate price list for acrylic and a separate price list for gel. Now, a full set of acrylic French will set you back $30. A full set of gel French will set you back $35. Now, a refill with acrylic is $20 and a refill with gel is $25, and a refill with gel is $25. If you get a refill with gel and shellac, it is $35. So that is a difference. That's the difference between their price lists. Now, to make it even more confusing, their acrylic refill with shellac and their gel refill with shellac are both $35. So I couldn't figure out why some prices were $5 more and then some were the same. I obviously asked for clarification. So I said, hello, do you have a price list? I was given the price list. So I started by saying, after I'd received their price list, what is the difference between gel, SNS and acrylic? Your gel seems to be $15 more. And they said the full set of acrylic with polish is $30. With gel color, it's $35. So you're now paying $15 extra for a gel polish. And a full set of SNS is $35. Add tips for an extra $5. Now this is where they got into the difference between gel, apparently, and acrylic. They said the difference between normal polish and gel shellac is that gel shellac dries straight away, gives you a high gloss and lasts to your next refill, which so far is accurate. And I said, yes, that is shellac, but what is gel? Then they gave me the explanation to what SNS was, which I did ask previously, but I felt like they were being a little bit evasive by not going straight to the gel. And I said, no, I don't mean SNS, I meant gel. I don't like SNS. And they said gel and shellac is the same thing. Some brands call it a gel color. The other brands call it a shellac. For example, there's an OPI gel or a C&D shellac. And I said, yeah, you have gel with polish, $22, but then you have gel with shellac, $35. So as a customer, they've just told me that gel and gel polish is the exact same thing. Yet on their price list, they said gel with normal polish is $22 and gel with gel polish is $35. So I'm just trying to figure out in my head how you could get gel polish with the regular polish, but then a gel polish with the gel polish, and they would be different prices. It's not, maybe they have a new system I don't know about. So I asked them, well, you have gel with a regular polish and then gel with a shellac. I don't understand. And then they said, no, that's under acrylic. I said, no, it's under gel. And then we sort of went back and forth a little bit. And then I said, okay, so it's $2 more for gel with normal polish. I just wanted to know the difference between what gel and acrylic is. Because to me, if I walked into this salon and asked for acrylic with a polish, I will get charged $20. If I ask for gel with polish, they're going to charge me $22. Yeah, $2 may not seem like a lot of money, but some salons do charge a lot more. So moving forward, they then thanked me for pointing that out, said that it wasn't meant to be there and apologized for their mistake. And I'm trying to figure out how something as standard as acrylic and gel could be put there by accident. Wouldn't you just have acrylic with polish and then acrylic with gel polish instead of having two confusing columns? I don't know, seems a little bit off. So I said, okay, so gel is like a shellac and it's not a different system like an acrylic system, because I know that gel is a different system. And they said, no, gel and shellac is a polish and it dries under UV or an LED light. You can get them done on natural nails or over acrylic. Again, they're not acknowledging the existence of hard gel whatsoever. Now I know comparing one salon's answers isn't really going to be consistent, so I messaged another one. Now the second salon I messaged and I got a price list for had a little bit of a different structure to their price list. They actually had on the left hand side acrylic, and then on the right hand side they had gel brackets powder. So obviously, as a customer who doesn't know what a gel powder is, I naturally asked. So the conversation with the second nail salon. So after receiving the price list for the second nail salon, I said, thank you. I want to try gel. What is the difference between gel and acrylic, and why is it $10 more? They said, because gel is more clear than acrylic and lasts longer. I said, I don't get gel, sorry for the questions, but why does it matter if the gel is clear if I use a polish? So I'm thinking, well, if that is the only reason they're charging $10 more for a gel, why would it matter if the gel was a clearer version of the acrylic if you're not going to see what it looks like because you are painting over it? Valid point. And then they completely ignored that question. So I messaged them back and I said, is gel better than acrylic? And they just said yes. So I messaged them back again and said, what is gel powder? I've never used this before. Do you have an example of what it looks like? They ignored me. 2 days later, I messaged them back again. Again, I was ignored. And then I messaged them back again on the 13th of December saying, hello, what is gel powder? This time round, they actually sent me a message with my name and then an automated message. Obviously, they had read my message and faked the auto reply just to get out of answering the question of what gel powder was. Now the concerning thing about this is they're not giving their consumers and their customers a straightforward answer. Gel powder doesn't exist in their salon, so they don't want to explain what the difference is. They've told you it's better, they've told you it's more clear. take their word for it, pay them the extra $10 and stop asking questions. And so these types of things are happening, I would like to say, in Australia, but that would be a lie. This sort of stuff happens around the world. I have seen a lot of people over in places like the UK and America, and it's happening over there as well. And no one's really saying anything about it or talking about it or drawing a lot of attention to it. So it really got to the point where I had enough and went, okay, people have to stop accepting this as the way it is now. And a third person that I messaged, who I also had a third nail salon send me a price list, and they had gel powder as well. And then when I asked them what the gel powder was, again, I was just ignored completely and then sent automated replies. Now I thought it's really easy to ignore someone via an email or a text message or a Facebook message. I'm going to go ahead and call a salon, and I want to see what they said when confronted. I don't know how this is going to go. I feel super nervous and super anxious. I don't like talking on the phone at the best of times. So I decided to bite the bullet, and I found a nail salon that has over 50 locations Australia-wide. Incredibly popular. They are in almost every shopping centre in my area at the very least, and they advertise gel powder on their website. The issue that I found with their website, however, their gel powder, they were talking about how they only use the best quality nail liquids when describing their gel services. And a gel service should never use an acrylic liquid. That is for a standard acrylic liquid and powder system. So I thought I'd give them a call and find out exactly what they had to say about their gel powder services and their liquid services, and also see if their staff were actually educated enough to basically give me a straight answer. All right, giving them a call. Let's see what they say. Hi, how are you? I was just looking on your website, and I was interested in coming in for an appointment before Christmas. Now I saw that you do acrylic and gel, is that right?
You want, so what would you like to do?
Probably,
Or gel powder?
I wanted to try gel, but I wanted to know which one was better. So what's the gel powder?
So you want booking, what day you want to book?
I will just come in, but I wanted to know, because so it's SNS, it's not gel. Because your website says gel powder.
Yes, gel powder. It's called SNS. Is that SNS gel powder? Is that the same?
Yeah, no, because you've got on the website it says dipping powder and gel powder. It has two different ones. It's two different prices. Your gel powder is cheaper.
Dipping gel. Is that gel powder?
I think so. It says gel powder. It says it says it's more lighter and more flexible than acrylic.
So it's actually, sorry, we're busy at the moment. So what would you like to do?
I just wanted to know which one it was. So before I came, I wanted to know which one was better.
Acrylic and gel powder. Acrylic harder than gel powder. Gel powder not too heavy wearing. People don't like. People allergy with acrylic. They can do gel powder.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's like a hypoallergenic. Oh, okay. Do they look similar, like on the nail and when you do it, or do they look different, or do they look like thicker, or do they look the same?
gel powder, they got the color in the product, more than 300 color.
Oh, okay. All right. I think I understand. All right. Well, look, I'm actually on your website. I'm gonna have a look, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Wow. So that was a very awkward conversation trying to figure out what it was. She basically told me that gel powder was SNS. And then when I confronted her and said, oh, but you've got a dipping powder SNS, but then a separate gel, she sort of stumbled a little bit and went, oh, it is different. It's better. And then when I actually said, oh, your website, and when I prompted her and gave her the answers, I said, your website actually says it's more flexible. That's when she went, oh yes, it is better than acrylic. If you have an allergy to acrylic, you use gel powder. Never. Like, no. That is probably the worst advice, and I'm going to actually do a video in the next coming weeks about nail allergies and how you can become allergic to acrylic and gels. I would never tell a client that if they are allergic to acrylic to use gel powder and then give them acrylic. That is just incredibly negligent, and I can't believe that they have basically told me that if I'm allergic to acrylic, I can use gel powder, which is essentially which is exactly the same as acrylic powder. And then she sort of just made up a few things like acrylic doesn't dull and the gel dulls, and it didn't really make sense to me, but then she tried to just sort of rush me off the phone instead of giving me the facts. So not knocking this particular lady that answered the phone, at the end of the day, I don't blame a lot of the nail technicians that work at these places, because it is up to the company to give them that advice. These nail technicians don't know what the difference is. The company creates a scam and then tells the nail technicians to sell it to you. And then when they're confronted, they have no idea. They haven't been taught about these products. They don't stock those products. So I wanted to sort of actually show you the lies that they tell you to your face, because I guarantee I've heard every line, every excuse under the sun when it comes to what gel powder is. So to compare the difference between an educated response and a real response versus the response I had been getting and the response a lot of you as a public may get as well, and basically just have to accept. I had a friend of mine anonymously message a nail salon, basically asking the exact same questions that I asked the other salons. So I started off by getting her to ask if this particular person did gel. And the nail tech responded and said, thank you for your inquiry. Yes, I do overlay gels, but only on natural nails. And then went to explain the way that she does the gel nails. She said that she was happy to do the overlays and the refills on gels, but won't add them over extensions, which is fair enough. Some salons do it differently, and this nail tech was open and honest about the extent to which she could actually do the gel nails. Now, that didn't necessarily mean at this present time that the gel nails that she did were actually gel nails. So what I got my friend to respond to that was, she said, thank you. Is gel better than acrylics? What's the difference between the two, as I've never had them done before? Now, this is a point where everybody else up until this point had been saying, gel is just better for you. Gel's is better quality. It's better than acrylic. It's hypoallergenic, apparently. It just lasts better. It's clear. It just gel is better. This nail tech then basically wrote a short essay to this client that she'd never met before. Wasn't even guaranteed that this client was going to book in, but she went in and basically explained from the start that gel is not better than acrylic, and essentially acrylic is not better than gel. They're their two own systems, and actually broke down the differences between the two products. She explained what acrylic was, she explained what gel was, and she explained also what the difference between the S and S was, and then asked the client if she'd had the nails done before and what she has tried. Now I wanted to see how far I could really push this, so I got her to say, wow, thank you, I've tried acrylic and gel powder, I think it's called. They looked the same to me, so it was confusing. So I basically got her to tell this nail tech what clients have actually said to me before, so this situation isn't so far-fetched that it's never going to happen. These situations do happen a lot, and at this point the nail tech could have taken advantage and said, well, she doesn't know the difference between gel and gel powder and acrylic, and this is, like I said, the point where a lot of people take advantage. So the response this nail tech gave was, gel powder isn't a thing. A lot of shopping centre salons lie to clients about it. Gel is runny, sticky, honey-like substance that has to be set under a UV or LED lamp. Then she went even further and emailed her a link to what the difference actually is. Amazing. And then at this point my friend sent me all the screenshots and said, well, this is what she'd been saying, and I said, cool, that's basically all the information I need. Thank her for her time, and let her know that you appreciate all the advice. Very, very, very solid advice, and that is the type of advice as a professional I would give to clients, and I would give to people just casually inquiring about what the difference is. I wouldn't tell them that one is 110% better than the other. I would explain the differences and basically tell them that it's personal preference. Some of my clients prefer gel, some of my clients prefer acrylic. Some of my clients actually last longer with acrylic because acrylic is that little bit more rigid, whereas gel is that little bit more flexible. Now you would think, well, why would you go with gel if it's flexible and acrylic is harder? Wouldn't harder be better quality? Well, not necessarily, because I have some clients whose nails curl naturally, and as their nails grow out more, they tend to curl. The gel has a little bit of flex and can actually curl with their nail, and I find that their nails tend to not lift. So is gel better for their nails? For that client, yes. Is gel better than acrylic? No, they have their pros and they have their cons. So I hope the way I've explained that sort of helps a little bit, puts things into perspective. I would love to know if you have actually ever experienced this yourself. If you have sat down and they've pulled out a powder and you have been getting gel powder thinking it's acrylic, even if you have or are getting gel powder now, how long have you been getting it? Have they been charging you extra? I would be interested to know sort of what stories you've been told, because the longer I have been doing this and the more stories that I get told, it sort of, I guess, gets more and more shocking to hear these stories again and again and again, and to find out that so many people are getting taken advantage of just because they don't know. They just assume that one is better than the other. With the salon that I just called, their gel powder services are $10 more than their acrylic, and they couldn't even give me a reason to what the gel powder was or what it looked like or the difference between them. I mean, they could have said, I mean, if gel powder was a real thing in their salon, they could have said, come in, we'll show you the packaging. I'll send you a photo of the packaging. I didn't even go into asking these salons if they could send a photo of their packaging. I will probably put that in a later video. because I have asked some salons in the past if they could tell me what brands they use, and I've also asked salons before for photographs of their products, what their gel looks like, what their acrylic looks like, and they've basically told me, no, that's our secret, that's our business, you don't need to know what brand we use because it's an industry secret. So I may make another video later on. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, turn on your notifications, because that is an entirely different thing. It needs its own video altogether. But to cut a long story short, there are no industry secrets when it comes to brands and products. People who use high quality products will proudly tell you what brands that they use. They will have them on the shelves, they will put them in their photos, in their hashtags, and they will brag about the brands that they use, because if they're high quality, they want people to know that they're spending the money on those products. The companies that use really cheap products or have something to hide, and some of the examples have been in this video today, they won't give you those straight answers, and if you press them, they'll either ignore you, tell you to go to their website, or just make up reasons that don't even make sense to why the products are better without an explanation as to what these products do or what they look like or how they're applied. Especially with telling people that gel is just shellac. Yes, the gel polish and shellac is essentially the same thing, but hard gel and the gel that these people have been advertising is not gel polish. They are different.